Yes, it's for real this time. It's Friday. What in the world are we doing live on Friday? I thought Thursdays was our day. Well, if you did too, you are right. And if you tuned in last night, which was Thursday, you saw me for about 3 minutes saying, we got to reschedule this. We are going to be live right now. Here we are, right now. Awesome. Earlier, I was live in our group and I encouraged the group to think about a quote that I had put in there about being a positive example for your kids. So if you missed that, check us out. Go visit our group. The links are all over this fan page. I'll put it again in the excuse me, in the description so you can check that out. We were also talking about uniqueness in our children. And we made lots of good points about not just our kids needing coping tools, we adults need coping tools. And when we have coping tools, we can teach those to our kids, which then in turns creates a much happier family, more peace in your home, but you are the ultimate example for that. And another way that all of these pieces of information filter together is through relationships. And I don't know if you remember, but a few weeks back, I had shared with you guys that I tallied all of the responses from our closed group about the struggles that parents and caregivers were having with kids. And you know what? They all link back to relationships. So, regardless if we're talking about tantrums or listening or respect or even just overall behavior, which, by the way, are the top 4 things that parents are struggling right now with, it all comes back to relationships and being able to regulate those emotions so that not only us as adults can handle things, but our kids can handle them too. It's amazing. These skills are also super important when we're talking about back to school. How many of you saw the back to school posts? Crazy, right? And I know some of you, your kids are already back to school. Where I live, we have until September, so we have a little bit more time. But I know a lot of you are already in the routine and maybe even struggling with that routine. It all comes down to relationships, coping, and empowering your kids for greatness. But that has to start with you guys, right? So, this is actually leading me into our topic for today. It's helping give our kids a boost of how to show love, empathy, caring for others. And when we have people, young people, growing up with these traits and these positive examples from their caregivers, they're the ones that are most successful in life. They're the ones that are most happy. They feel and they do achieve greater because they persevere. They work with others better because they have that empathy piece to work with another human being or in a team of human beings. When the going gets tough, they stick it out because they have the coping tools to get there. So without further ado, let's get started on this very important topic. Oh, I will make sure I'm sticking to our 20-minute mark. I know you guys are super busy as parents. That is always my promise to you when we go live, unless I have a guest with me. We have a super crazy event going on, 20 minutes. So let's see, I have 9 tips to share with you. So we're going to get rolling. Here we are. I remember when. How many of you out there remember when your little honey bun said, I love you for the first time? I can still picture, I'll just talk about one of my children. The I love yous came out in the crib. I love you, good night. And then I got back a jumbled version of I love you, but it melted my heart, right? How did you feel? Comment below. How did you feel when your kids first told you that they loved you? For me, it was amazing, heartfelt. And now we fast forward. Here we are years later. There are some days that I'm lucky to even get, mom, okay. I'm like, hey, like I poke them a little bit. Hey, what are you supposed to say? And we kind of make a game out of it and a joke out of it and whatever. But those days of the mushy I love yous, they tend to be a little less common. That's kind of sad, but it's actually a good thing at the same time. Sorry, my screen keeps moving. I have an agenda. I'm trying to like scroll down. It's okay because it's developmentally appropriate. So even though it doesn't make us mamas very happy when the I love yous aren't as forthcoming, it's developmentally appropriate. Use this. Use it as an opportunity for growth. Don't take it personally. Have an opportunity, take that opportunity to use some humor, to be silly with them. My kids are still at the age that I can do that, and then they crack a little bit of a smile, and then yes, I'll get the I love you. And even when I get to the point that I can't get that I love you every time, I'm not going to take it personally, and I'm just going to continue to show love unconditionally. That brings me to our kids. They need love to show love. So if we are always giving that unconditional love and bonding with them to grow our relationship, they will feel that love. They need to know love to show love. We know, it's fact, our feelings drive our actions. Our feelings of love would obviously result in an action that is loving, right? So if we're showing our kids love, they're going to feel love, and then they can act in loving ways. You see how this is all connected? This is amazing, right? So love, humor, help them have those positive feelings. My all-time favorite coping tool, positive self-talk. It helps with these feelings and thoughts and ultimately their actions. Use it, use it, use it. We're actually going to be talking about some of my favorite coping skills in a few weeks. I was talking to my group members about that this morning too. So that is coming up. But back to it. Here is our first way to give our boost to the kids to help them show love and empathy. These are things you can pick and choose. There's going to be 9 of them. These are great, fabulous, wonderful, whatever adjective you want to put to them, ways to help our kids feel special inside and loved by us. Sometimes the only people they feel loved by on any given day are their parents. So let's boost them up. Let's help them have those positive feelings to drive those positive actions, right? And then ultimately grow into these respectful, responsible adults who are persevering and are successful in life. So here we go. Number 1, you are great. I'm pausing on purpose because you can't just tell someone, oh, you're good, you're great. What does that even mean? I guarantee you it's something different for me, and it's something different for you, and it's something different for your kids. You are great. Be specific, okay? Why are they great? I think you are doing a wonderful job right now because you're playing so nicely with your brother. Thank you. Yesterday, I had to use a phrase in the car. I like how you're sitting calm and not screaming while I'm driving. Thank you. You're doing a great job. I was specific, okay? You are great because this is going to unfold a little bit more in one of our next upcoming tips. Number 2, specific actions. I had posted not too long ago a camera, and I said, be camera specific. Pretend you are a camera. That gives them positive examples of what you see them doing. This is so important, especially during homework time. I love how you are using your handwriting so neatly. I'm proud of you. Wow, you're really persevering through that activity. I know it's hard for you, but I like how you're making really good choices now. Be specific. When you take the time out of your crazy day to acknowledge specific camera-ready behaviors that your kiddo is doing, it's going to speak love to them. You're noticing them. How many times a day do you hear the word mom? Mom, 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 mom. And you dads out there, you probably hear it like that as well. Dad, 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 I want to show you this. What are you doing about this? And some days I'm like, oh my gosh, I think I've heard mom like 1,000 times, right? Because they want to be noticed, they want to be included. And sadly, for kids that don't get the positive attention, that's when we see some of the acting out behaviors. That's actually like one of the secrets to solving behaviors in kids. What type of attention are they getting? Are we reinforcing the positive? Or are we just in? Jackie says 1,000 times. I hear my name 1,000 times. Yes, I know. So let's continue to interact with our kids positively, because if they start acting out negatively for our attention, it's not going to end well. And see you soon, Jackie. Love it. Okay, number 3, praise. I'm working on it. Praise. Here we go. Even small steps in the right direction. Praise them for that. No joke. I think I've shared my struggles of driving in the car with my kids to you guys before. We have a hard time in the car. There's no doubt about it, because we like to get too silly, and then the hands start flying, and then the tattling starts coming. So when I was able to drive, no lie, this sounds ridiculous, a full minute without any problems in the back seat, I praised it. It was a small step, because man, we are in the car for more than a minute at a time, but I praised it. Small steps in the right direction. I mentioned yesterday on our 3-minute blip that I would use some of these ideas in examples of how I use these to develop empathy and show love when we were at the amusement park yesterday. So I had to give my little guy a little bit of a warning, and I said, it looks like you're starting to make some poor choices because you're getting overly excited. I want you to be able to stop and think. And stop and think is a concept that we've worked on, and he knows exactly what that means. I say that because you can't tell a kid to do something if they don't know what it means. If we haven't already gone through what stop, think, go means, he wouldn't have known what I was talking about. Anyways, he did. He stopped and he was thinking, and I saw his behavior get better. I praise that. Wow, I just saw that you use that skill. Thank you. All right, here's something else that I have done, and it is so powerful, even though it seems a little silly. Make a list. Make a list of things that help your kids smile and feel happy. Why? Because it's super important for all of us. I don't care how old or young we're talking. It's fabulous for all of us to be able to go back and reflect on the positive things in our life. Are there struggles? Yes. Is there stress? Yes. But I'm going to tell you one way to start boosting up those loving, positive feelings, and to formulate some really good positive self-talk, and to get ourselves grounded back into being in a state of mind that we can be happy and feel gratitude, will go super long ways for your kids. This particular list that I have done, especially with my older one, has turned a grumpy mood full of misbehaviors right around. So this is what we did. The first day I decided to do this, I said, I want you to think what we did yesterday, what you did yesterday. List 10 things that made you happy or smile. Boom, done. Today, I want you to think, name me 15 things that made you happy or smile. We added it to the list. I showed him the list. Oh my gosh, we have 25 amazing things that have made me happy in my life. What do you think happened when I showed him that list? Yeah, a smile. I did not ask him about these things when he was grumpy, because that's not going to work. When we're introducing a coping skill and we're trying to facilitate the growth of this empathy and the positive feelings, guys, you have to do it when your kids are in a positive state of mind. That way, it's going to be able to be put into place, to be used, and it's going to have much more power. If they're in a grumpy mood and you're already battling with them, they're not going to want to have anything to do with this. Okay, so back to the list. We kept adding to the list for several days. We had over 100 items on that list. So guess what I pulled out when we were having a tough day? The list. Yeah. And even though he said, I don't remember the exact words, but yeah, whatever, I still could see a little crack of the smile, and I could tell he was processing what was on the list. Even if your kids give you a line like they don't care and whatever, I guarantee you that they are internalizing some of it. So don't give up. A list is a fabulous thing to fall back on. All right, number 5, express. Express to them how proud you are. Be specific about what you're proud about. We already talked about that, and ask them how they feel in the moment. At some point, it's not enough for parents or teachers or other caregivers just to be proud of the actions of a child. For them, they need to internalize that feeling of success, of feeling proud, of feeling happy. When they internalize it, that's the motivation that they're going to have to continue to make positive choices. So express your positivity, but then also turn it around and say, how do you feel about this right now? It helps those positive feelings, helps with the perseverance, helps with the empathy. Oh my gosh, does it ever help with the coping? Super good way to boost your kid up. Express, express, express. Love it. Handle mistakes. And given the time, I'm actually going to end at this one. And we'll pick it back up and I'll finish the other 3. I'll probably look to do that. I'm going to guess over the weekend sometime, but I will definitely put out something so that you know when it's coming. Handle mistakes. So yesterday, stopped at a red light and my youngest got out of his seatbelt. Never has done that before. Never, never. I wanted to scream and yell at him, like, what are you thinking? And I will say, I was a little bit heightened in my tone when I looked back and I saw, what are you doing? Because I was shocked. When he got back in his seat, he had this look on his face like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? I immediately then was able to change my tone because he was back safely in his seat. And I said, we do not get out of our seat. That is absolutely not okay. I kept the sternness to my voice, but I wasn't yelling at him. Which actually, I'll just show this to you. We will pick up with this with control yourself, which hopefully I did. But sometimes our kids do something, you're like, ah, what am I supposed to do with this? Oh my gosh, stop doing that. Anyways, he got back in his seat pretty quick. And he said, what? You were at a stoplight. Nothing bad's going to happen. I said, stop and think about that. What if someone hit the side of our car? What if someone ran into the back of our car and you weren't strapped in? And he got this look on his face like, oh, I didn't think about that. Right. We're not going to wait for a natural consequence to happen, which would be the car accident. We're going to address this behavior right away. But it's a mistake. He doesn't undo his seatbelt ever. He made an error in judgment. For me or any parent to say, I can't believe you did that. You are terrible. You're bad. And I know that sounds really bad, really harsh, but I've had kids tell me that that's how they've been talked to before. Guys, it's not the kid that's bad. It's their choice. And if they're doing something that's not okay, teach them the right way. That's actually the difference between discipline and punishment. And I do have a chart on it. That makes me think. I wasn't even thinking about this. If you want a chart, it's a checklist of the differences between discipline and punishment. Just put in the comments discipline versus punishment, and I'll get that out to you. There is a difference. Discipline takes a teaching aspect. And because I was able to handle this mistake, my kid was able to process, ooh, what's going to happen? I need to learn from this, right? All right, we will pick this back up. If you're watching this on your lunch break, I love you. Thank you. Go back to work or go for a walk, whatever you got to do. If you're catching us on the replay, totally cool. Comment. I will be monitoring comments. Replay is awesome. And we're going to finish this boosting your kids up programming. We have 3 left, and then I do have a blog post that I have written that will help solidify some of this stuff even more. So that will be when we get back together soon, sooner than later, before our next scheduled time, which is next Thursday. So